on climate action and issues of sustainability. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we're pushing out programs that are usually held at the SSA to ensure continued engagement of the community while we're all at home. My name is Marilyn, and I'm part of the CDL sustainability team. So today's session, Why Little Green Steps Matter, and Sustainability Bingo, will begin with an introduction by CDL's Chief Sustainability Officer, Esther An, followed by a presentation by Green is the New Black founder, Stephanie Dickson, then an interactive game of bingo and a short Q&A session. Before we begin, please ensure that your microphone is muted. And if you have any questions, feel free to unmute yourself and jump in, or also type in the group chat box. This session will last about an hour and will be recorded and accessible on our CDL Sustainability Facebook page. Thanks everyone for your cooperation, and over to you, please, Esther.
Okay. Hello, everyone, friends and new friends to our Singapore Sustainability Academy. Well, the green community is indeed very resilient, and we have been keeping active even working from home. And we are really, really excited that, you know, the virtual SSA, in fact, helps us to reach out to an even larger community, even beyond our shores. And today is the very first session. And I think while the world is actually fighting the global pandemic, the climate agenda should not take a back seat. Climate threats will remain as an existential issue even when the pandemic is more settled. To kickstart our virtual SSA Impact Series is a good friend of ours and also a passionate green champion that needs no introduction. Stephanie Dickson is actually a founder of the Green is the New Black, a two-time TEDx speaker and a conscious community builder. So in this session, you will learn about little green steps that you can take to be more environmentally conscious and also have a better understanding of the sustainability landscape in Singapore. And we hope that through this sustainability bingo, you are going to meet new friends, and this is going to be very interactive and very fun. And all of us at CDL and hope that you will leave this session with a little bit more, inspired to incorporate eco-consciousness into your lifestyle. And together we can build a better and a greener world. And enjoy the bingo. Thank you.
Thank you, Esther, for that warm welcome. And without further ado, let's welcome Stephanie to the floor.
Hi, everyone. I'm super excited to be here. Really excited to play bingo with everybody. So if you want to put your videos on so we can see you, we want this to be very interactive. If you feel comfortable having a video, please jump in at any point. You can unmute yourself, ask a question, you can unmute yourself, share an answer. We really want this to be community building. If we were physically together, we'd all be seeing each other and chatting. So we're trying to recreate a little bit of that experience this afternoon, so we can have a little bit of fun together and have a little break, maybe shake it off a little bit from the day today. So I can see a few familiar faces, which is awesome. But I'd like to get to know you guys a little bit more before we actually launch into the game. So we're going to have a poll here. So if everyone now can start filling out the poll that I have just launched. We just have a couple of questions and we'll just see them. We're going to share the results and see how everyone's doing. So there's a lot of questions there, how we're feeling, also a little bit of knowledge around sustainability so we can get an idea of how everyone is. Yeah. Okay. Viewing questions. Great. So yeah, I can see Alti. Nice to see you, Alti. Nice and familiar faces. I can see also Lara. It's great to see some of the community around. Okay, cool. So just have a couple more that haven't voted. Okay. Great. I think we can end our poll. See how everyone's doing. Okay. I think there was supposed to be more questions. Technology, that's okay. Everyone's feeling okay, being better. Okay, great. I can share the results with everyone there. You can see how the rest of the group is feeling. So now I'm going to share my screen with you all. So we are here today to talk a little bit about why green steps still matter. And also to, to talk about learn a little bit more about different aspects and things that we can do as individuals. So just a little bit about Green is New Black for those that maybe haven't heard or haven't been connected with us before. We run a sustainable and conscious media platform, and we also do big festivals. We, really focus on this concept of little green steps and breaking things down so that we can continue on our sustainability journeys. So we're a lifestyle media platform. We like to think of ourselves as a little bit of a bridge between consumers who are willing to be more conscious and brands who are doing amazing sustainable things. And we run massive festivals. So we've got our next event coming up, Virtual Conscious Festival. We actually did the last one at South Beach with CDL. So that was a really fun partnership, and we've got lots of exciting stuff coming up, but I'll share a little bit more about that at the end. If I haven't met you before, a little bit about me. I used to work in fashion. I used to run fashion festivals around Asia until I had an awakening moment where I realized how polluting fashion was and socially corrupt, and I wanted to do something to be part of the solution instead of being part of the problem. And so I launched Green is New Black 5 years ago in 2015, and since then have been on my own journey and then bringing people along to have a community awakening and empowering us all to take little green steps. We base our values on these key things here. So we're, focused on the planet, innovation for good, power to the people, animal life as well. So straight into our game. The sustainability bingo today. First of all, I hope everyone was able to download their card. So we sent an email out to everyone earlier today with a special bingo card just for you. So if you haven't downloaded that, please open up your email. It will be an email from a lady called Stacy on our team. So Stacy would have sent you an email where you can download the bingo card so that we can all get started. If you didn't receive that, please just write in the chat and Stacy will send you a new card. So how this is going to work is have your bingo card open up on your computer. You can sit it next to the screen, so you can have our screen, the Zoom call on half the screen, and you can have your bingo card on the other half of the screen. And then basically what we're going to do is we're going to read out each box one by one. And if you have either an answer for that box, you have done that box, or you have a comment or something you want to share, you can tick that box off. So you'll actually be able to click the box on your screen and it will have a big tick. And basically then you are able to mark that off. So if you've played bingo before, you know you have to get 4 in a row in our little bingo card. So you'll be able to mark off 4 in one go in any direction. And that will then you want to come on and yell bingo. So we basically have some amazing prizes up for grabs. So we've got this beautiful bag you see here on the screen. This is made from recycled plastic bottles with beautiful patterns on them. We've got a couple of t-shirts which were ethically made and upcycled in Cambodia, and we have some tickets to our upcoming Virtual Conscious Festival. So you get a little green goodie bag if you win bingo first. So just a recap, please download the bingo card onto your laptop or on your phone if that's what you're using, and then just tick off the things as you have it. We're also going to be opening up on every item, every box, to hear from a couple of people as well. We want this to be interactive. So either you can write in the chat, or you can just put your off mute yourself, and we can have a little, you can have a little sharing. We want to get to know more people in the community. So first one, we're going to start off with an easy one. And if anyone's struggling, remember, please just like write in the chat box and we'll sort you out. Stacy will jump in and help you. But has anybody done a beach cleanup before? And maybe someone brave wants to share a little bit about their very first beach cleanup. Do we have any brave people who want to share?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, this is Martin from Semcorp.
Hi, Martin.
Hi, Stephanie. Thanks for organizing. Yes, I was involved in the Semcorp Gives Back Week last year, which meant that selected people from the organization, because we had different events across Singapore, went to East Coast Park, and our CEO joined us for that day for about 2 hours intermittently because it was quite a thundery day. So yeah, it was great fun, and it was great to get, hands-on and actually get some see how material it is, and actually be able to visually see the amount of waste that is just thrown away irresponsibly, or off boats, or just by people passing by. So yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Was there anything, what was the weirdest thing that someone found that day on the beach?
The weirdest thing would,
Yeah.
that's, I don't know. I think 80-90% of it was just plastics, food, cigarettes as well. I mean, small cigarette butts. People who smoke think that, you know, they easily just biodegrade, but actually they take, I think, 25, 30, 40 years to actually biodegrade. So it's just the accumulation of the small items as well as some of the big, like car tires and things like that, which you would not expect to see.
Exactly. Yeah, I've seen some car tires in my days. I've also seen a lot of cigarette butts. Cigarette butts is actually a huge problem in waters and beaches. Yeah, absolutely. So cool. Thank you so much for sharing.
No problem.
Anyone else want to jump in, or should we go into the next one? Give a moment. Okay. So if you have done a beach cleanup on your bingo card, click that, a big tick should appear, and then that's your first box marked off. If you haven't, don't worry, there's lots here, as you can see, that we're going to go through, so you'll have plenty of opportunity to tick some boxes. So our next one, who has an answer for why people are still confused about climate change? So this is super open, any answer that comes to mind when I've shared that.
I can try.
Great, thanks, Karen.
Okay. Yeah, I think like people are, well, because of the whole climate about the climate about like fake news. So there's always people who's going to wonder like whether it's naturally occurring or is it our action. If anyone has ever done like beach cleanup and noticed like how bad the whole situation is, it's definitely like what we are doing that's causing this environment change. Especially in the lockdown, we can see like nature coming back, and you know the air being cleaner. So yeah, it's definitely our action. So there should be no more confusion. But unfortunately, people do think differently.
Absolutely, that's such a great answer. Thank you so much for sharing. Fake news is a really big issue. And actually, a lot of that is caused by big oil. So I'm not sure if you can fully see the graphics here, but big oil has actually known about climate change for over 40 years. And they've actually spent billions of dollars on advertising and lobby. And there's this great graphic that we found here, shared by the Merchants of Doubt, which is a documentary and book that basically shows, you know, big oil, they fund a lot of money into climate deniers through think tanks and groups. And then basically they lobby against, and you know, they hire scientists to create the doubt, create all this fake news. So you're absolutely right, Karen. And the scary thing as well, and there's actually a lot of really great articles that have come out about this recently and in the last couple of years, since the 2015 Paris Agreement that was done, governments and banks have actually financed over $2 trillion into oil, gas, and coal since the Paris Agreement was made in 2015. So it's pretty scary, but I think more and more people are waking up to this, and there's lots of solid information that's coming out now to hopefully drown out a lot of that fake news. Okay, great. So next one.
I was going to say, Stephanie, I think the other issue is global political leadership. There is not enough coordinated leadership around climate change. And of course, the leader of the free world, Donald J. Trump, is probably the worst in that respect. So where you get political leaders that don't support the cause, it's very difficult for the public to get behind it as well.
Yeah, that is a huge battle that I think we're going to be facing moving forward. And I think especially now with the crisis and what's going to be happening, you know, with the next COP and meetings and everything like that. But yeah, I think that's a really valid point. Thanks for sharing, Bruce. Again, anyone that wants to jump in at any time, like, this is awesome, having good conversations. So the next one that we have here is has moved or asked about their money. So I will explain a little bit about what I mean about this, because it might be confusing for some people. Basically, your money that's, you know, in your banks or in your pension funds are actually invested or loaned, you know, to oil, coal, and gas potentially. And so a lot of people don't actually think about where their savings or where their pension funds, like how they actually increase and make value on that money. And so it's really about starting to create that awareness and understand where our money, what our money is actually being used for. And so really by this question, we're just trying to raise the awareness of understanding how do we move our money, or do we ask about where our money is actually being invested? So you may have heard, I mean, probably speaking to a very educated crowd right now, but obviously, you know, just two terms that we wanted to kind of highlight as well is ethical investing. So really, you know, choosing where to put your money that's an ethical, based on your ethics or your moral principles. But then also there's this big, you know, concept of divesting. So you might have seen recently in the last 12 months, you know, big banks like OCBC and DBS coming out saying that they are divesting away from coal plants, or at least not lending money to new coal plants to be formed as well. So we're seeing more and more of these announcements coming out, and banks cleaning up their investment strategies and their, you know, who they actually give that money to. And then obviously pension funds are there as well. So just curious, this one might be a bit, you know, less common, but has anyone here moved or asked about where their money is and has something to share on that?
I've only started on asking. I haven't really moved anything yet, so still in the process of finding out. Because I think like some of these portfolios can be placed in. So like if you have a portfolio that's like a mixed basket, then like some of it could be in unethical, unsustainable companies. So it's also trying to figure out the logistics of how to move that as well.
Absolutely. But at least you've asked, you know, that's like a great first step. So I think that's really good. And there's a really exciting campaign that's going to be coming out called My Money, My Planet. So that's going to be launching actually at our Conscious Festival in June. And there's going to be a big campaign. So we'll definitely share that with the community as well, because it's really going to help people to easier navigate where their money is and how it's being used. So I think this is something that we're probably going to see discussed more and more. So thank you again for sharing, Karen. Next one, maybe an easier one, someone who has, or if you've offset your carbon footprint. And so this could be anything. This could be if you planted trees, if you've, you know, invested in renewables, or really even if you're reducing your footprints, if you've, you know, started to identify different things that you can do to actually just reduce your carbon footprint. So a couple of different options there. Anyone want to share?
I'll take another one. I moved from New Zealand to Singapore last year, and in doing so, sold both the cars that I had in New Zealand, and have no intention of owning a car while I'm living in Singapore. There is plenty of good public transport. There is no reason whatsoever for myself and my partner in our circumstances to travel in our own vehicle. So we make extensive use of public transport.
Absolutely. Public transport's amazing here. I think we're really lucky for that. Yeah.
And still Singaporeans complain about it.
Well, I mean, if they don't know what it's like in other places, you know, they maybe don't have a comparison tool. I think I used to live in Melbourne. Melbourne had really good public transport, but Sydney is a bit of a disaster. If anyone's ever been to Sydney before. I think we had someone in the comment section, I'm just going to read it out. Isaac, agree with Jess, not many people can relate on how our action can impact on melting icebergs, and the current issue is how to keep our job from being unemployed. So yeah, thank you for sharing that, Isaac. I think it's a big one. Yeah, it's true. You know, at this current stage, the focus is going to be very different, but I think, you know, I'm reading a lot of great articles, and again, sometimes I feel like I'm living in an echo chamber. Oh, sorry, he was replying to Jess's comment, which was they think it's too far away to affect them, e.g. melting of icebergs. So it's true, you know, I think a couple of different things there. So yes, in Singapore, the icebergs do seem, and the melting seems very far away, but we are an island surrounded by water. And when sea levels rise, you know, we will see that. But I think what people don't often cite or realize in Singapore is that we've actually had like I think it's 12 out of the last 14 years have been the hottest recorded on record. And so it is getting hotter and hotter every year, but we're kind of, you know, like the toads sitting in a boiling pot that's slowly boiling up all around us. So yeah, I think that's a big thing. And personally, I just recently bought a bike So I think bikes are going to have a huge comeback around the world, you know, because it's a great way to travel and move around, but still also be social distancing as well. Okay. So next up, we has a sustainability meme or joke to share. I know it's not a funny topic, but sometimes, you know, where memes are good, memes can be funny. So if anyone has a joke or a meme that they'd like to share. Let's see, Karen.
I do.
Wasn't great.
So it's one like that some time ago. It's a Paris Hilton wearing this like plastic bottle vest kind of thing. I don't so she's like saying that everything on me was found in the stomach of sea turtles, and then she's like so sad. You're in typical Paris Hilton way. And that the caption says that it's not the environmentalists that we asked for, but environmentalists that we deserve.
Yeah, they're great. Thank you for sharing.
Let me see if I can. Yeah, that was one.
Yeah, that's good. Does anyone else have anything they want to share?
I do. I've seen one before, and it's got a picture of a big wind turbine. Sustainability. I'm a big fan.
I'm a big fan.
Oh, hold on. You can see this. Yeah. Renewable energy. I'm a big fan.
I mean, I think memes are great. They make you smile, don't they? I pulled one up because I'm a big Leonardo DiCaprio fan. So this one, it's a bit blurry. Sorry for that. It says a few years after global warming, and then it says Rose. So does anyone know what film that's from? Titanic. So yes, a little lame, but anyway, a bit of fun as well. I've got some things coming here on the chat. Altis shared, I've had several discussions on portfolio sustainability with our asset manager and also about their gender lens position. Alti, that's awesome. That's really great. And yeah, he had no idea about gender lens investing, but has taken an interest and invited me to speak to their managers. That's really good. Yeah, so I think it's great to ask questions. Sorry, I think did someone want to share something?
Wait, I have another one. It's a Harry Potter one. It says ride brooms, not cars.
Ride brooms. That's great. I love Harry Potter as well. We had one come in from Quentin over chat, global warming, and then there's a boot. I don't know if you guys can see this. So people are sharing on the chat, which is nice. Okay, great. Our next one, has anybody clothes swapped before? Maybe that's just clothes swapping with friends, or actually going to somewhere where you can do a clothes swap like the Fashion Pulpit, or maybe attending a, like a clothes, like an event, a pop-up event or something.
Yes.
Karen, you've done everything. You're super sustainable, according to this bingo card. Where did you clothes swap?
I've tried both Shopaholic first, and then Fashion Pulpit opened up. So I tried Fashion Pulpit as well, and then actually like they had a bingo night 2 days ago on Tuesday, so I joined that one as well with Ray. Yeah,
Ray's amazing. We did the bingo thing together actually last year at an event, and then we've both been doing different versions of it since. It's quite fun. Anyone else clothes swapped? Or Jess Lee, Def clothes swap. Awesome, Jess. Thanks for sharing. So yes, if you've done, remember, you can be ticking off these things as we've done it, and then obviously if you get 4 in a row, you can yell bingo, and then we'll see what happens after that. Anyone else?
I'm happy to share. I'm wearing a swapped outfit today.
Amazing.
So yeah, nice gold and white, and even though we are not going out, I try to still dress as if I might. So yeah, love swapping.
Yeah, that's awesome. I like it. I mean, today I actually put some makeup on for the first time in a while, and it felt good. And like put on a shirt, and it's like, yeah, it was good reason to get dressed up. So I'm glad you also joined in that and wearing something swapped. That's awesome. So just a few things. Isaac, yes, especially, okay, so I think this was about the previous one. Isaac shared, yes, especially the wind turbine, a big fan. if you look for SGAG, Xiaoming did the men with many fans at home as his fans. Okay, so I think we can look that one up. It's in the group chat, so we can check out that one as well. Thanks for sharing, Isaac. So yeah, the reason clothes swapping is something that's really good for sustainability is because fashion is one of the most polluting industries in the world. And you may not know, maybe you do, but it takes 2,700 liters of water to make a single cotton t-shirt. So you can imagine, and that's enough for us to basically shower for like 3 years. So you can imagine the amount of resources that it takes to actually produce the clothes that we have. And I think particularly for the women, but I'm sure it's accurate for some of the men as well, we barely wear anything that's actually in our wardrobe. So Ray, our friend at the Fashion Pulpit, that we've mentioned a couple of times, he has a physical clothes swapping store, which will hopefully be opening up after circuit breaker again. But he shares that about 80% of our wardrobe is like dead stock. He talks about having a landfill in our wardrobe and being able to tap into that landfill to clothes swap. So just something to think about next time you're looking at your wardrobe, or maybe a few people have Marie Kondo'd their life already and have more of a minimalist wardrobe now. Okay, our next one, vegetarian or vegan. So again, anyone welcome to share their stories about that, or when they switched, or if they've tried, or if they're a climatarian or a pescatarian. Climatarian is a thing, by the way. It's people that make dietary choices based on climate change.
Does flexitarian count?
Yes, flexitarian is good. Explain to us your version of flexitarianism.
So significantly reduced the amount of meat that we're eating. So like I said before, I come from New Zealand. We have some of the best beef and lamb in the world, and giving up a decent sirloin steak is difficult. So considerably reduced. So go more obviously plant-based diets and things like that, but can't give it up entirely.
Yes, I think that's great. I mean, so I was vegetarian most of my life, and then I did about 5 years meat eating, and then I was also flexitarian, slowly like reducing everything else. So I think it's a great first step. Like reduction of meat is a really, a great first step. And then you can look at other things as well, and you end up feeling healthier, I think, as well. Anushka shared she's been vegetarian all her life, and Alti has been vegetarian since early 1990s. So thank you guys for sharing. You can definitely mark that off. Here's a little table that you guys have probably seen from Our World in Data. Zachary shares he tries to eat less meat. Good. So Zachary, you're on the flexitarian scale. So that's good. And here you can basically see, obviously it's a little blurry, sorry about that, but beef is right here at the top with the highest impact in terms of greenhouse gas emissions. And this is across the supply chain. So we're looking at land use, farming, animal feed, processing, transport, retail, and then packaging. And so you've got, I'll just read out the top few here: beef, lamb and mutton, cheese, beef from dairy herd, chocolate, coffee, prawns, palm oil, pig meat. And then all the way down the bottom here, we've got nuts, citrus fruit, apples, root, vegetables, bananas, pears, blah, blah, blah. Soy milk is here. And you can see milk's about halfway, eggs are about halfway. So really, if there's a few things, it's pretty obvious. If you just want to start reducing one thing, you should kind of start with beef and then lamb and then some dairy. If you want to start reducing your own personal impact as well, and eat some of, down this end of the more lighter carbon footprint and greenhouse gas emission food. So that's just a little information there. Next, have voted or written a letter to a member of parliament about climate change. While you guys are thinking about that, Nelson shared, planetarian is the way to go. We might need to adapt to eating insects as they're easier to produce with less resources needed. Thank you for sharing, Nelson. Planetarian is a new one. It sounds great. I haven't actually heard of that one before. Add that to my repertoire. Trang shares, after with you, Nelson, tried to eat big burgers and brownies tasty. After, I don't think I read that out correctly. I'm not sure what you were saying, Trang. Sorry. Yeah, so has anyone voted or written a letter to a member of parliament? Not yet? Okay. So basically our MPs are there to represent us. So we need to tell them what we want. We've actually I think we put some resources together so that we actually have those letter templates that you can use to actually just basically copy and paste. And on Earth Hour, which happened last March, which is by WWF, they actually started a campaign where you can also write a letter, but you can customize it to be about the things that you care about and send it to your local MP. So I will share a link to that with the CDL team, and they can hopefully share that afterwards. Or Stacey can maybe try and find the link because I forgot to prepare that link. But there's definitely a few things that you can easily do. And then, oops. Here, this is actually a event that's going to be coming up that I just found out about today. So I just thought I'd shove it in here to share in case you guys were interested. Cheryl Chan, who is a member of Parliament, is actually going to be doing an event on the 21st of May about Singapore and looking at green deals. So again, if you're interested in that, we can share a link, or you can just have a little screenshot there. Something interesting to maybe, if you're interested in, engaging more with MPs on this topic, that might be a good place to start in Singapore. Yeah, perhaps we can do more recycling. Any good ideas? Jess, we are going to be coming up to recycling. It might be, oh, look at that. You got it right. Recycling is our next one. So recycling every week and or find second homes for items. So I put the second homes for items thing there because when I was moving apartment last year, I was shocked at the amount of crap we basically accumulated and the amount of waste that we could potentially have when we were clearing our apartment. So I started doing a lot of research, and luckily had a lot of friends that shared links with me about free cycling groups where you can actually just post your stuff for free. You can give it away. Carousel, there's all these tools now where you can actually find second homes for your items. And so I wanted to say, maybe you recycle every week or every few days, or maybe you actually go that extra mile and find second homes for your things. Karen, I see you've popped your video on again. You have something to share? I can't hear you.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, yeah, I recycle. Like there's a bag at home for recycling, and of course carousel, like you said, trying to find homes for perfectly good items.
Yes, great. And you haven't got bingo yet. I'm surprised. You've got almost every. Not yet, almost.
Yeah.
Okay. Anuja sharing, Singapore has been calling for people to be part of working groups that look at climate and environment related topics. Yes, it's true. Muir is actually constantly running different groups, citizen groups, and there's actually now groups that are run by citizens to share about these kind of things. So it's exciting. Things are definitely shifting. I think someone else is wanting to share. No? Okay. Cool. So now I wanted to share a little bit about recycling in Singapore. So I did some research recently, and actually our recycling rate fell in 2019, which is a bit disappointing. So we had, you can see here, 7.2 million tons of waste in 59% was recycled in 2019 versus 61% in 2018. So that, there was a lot of different reasons cited for that, but we definitely saw a little bit of a drop in recycling last year. So just in case you didn't know, about 34% of Singapore's recyclables are actually exported, which means they are, obviously exported overseas to be recycled and not recycled in Singapore. And on a study that was done, around 6 out of 10 Singapore households actually recycle regularly. And when asked about why, there's a couple of issues that sort of come up. So first, there's a lot of people that recycle incorrectly. So not realizing what can and can't be recycled, and following on from that, contamination is a massive problem in Singapore. So almost around 25 to 30%, I can't remember the exact stat, but it's around that, is contaminated. And basically then means it can't be recycled. So that means that, it goes in the blue bin, and then maybe, for example, if it was, say, a container that had food in it, that food leaks, or if there is liquid, that liquid leaks, and then it basically contaminates that whole section of the recycling. And then it basically gets rerouted back to the incineration plants. So I think contamination is a massive thing, and because of that, we really need to have a lot more education around cleaning our recyclables. And then there's this big thing here, because we have these big blue bins, there's this wishful recycling. So people kind of launch stuff in their recycling bins and they hope that it can be recycled, or, you know, just in the case that it can be recycled, it gets put in there. Things like dirty nappies and teddy bears and all these kind of things. So there's that side of it. There's also been a drop in demand for recyclable materials overseas, and a lot of countries closing their borders to recycling, which has made it a little bit more challenging and less profitable for private sector to implement that. And yeah, so that obviously leading to less inclination. All these different reasons lead to people not wanting to recycle so much.
I think the other issue, Stephanie, my observation is that this country's still got a long way to go in terms of reducing the amount of plastic usage. So, you know, the input into the process needs to be reduced. I'm astounded, you know, when I go and buy, I don't know, a piece of bread from a shop, and it goes into a plastic bag, and then it goes into another plastic bag to carry it. So I think, you know, culturally, there needs to be a shift in focus away from using plastic to start with.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a big thing, and there's lots of amazing groups that are tackling this and have been tackling it for years. And, you know, there was a lot of citizen assemblies last year, because last year was the year of zero waste, to assist with this process. So I think it is shifting, maybe a little slowly, but there is, you know, there is some things that are shifting, but there's a lot of different reasons that are cited as to why there's no charge on plastic bags, and we can have a whole nother talk and workshop and bingo game probably just on those topics. Yong shared, I recycle regularly, but I'm a bit disappointed that everyone mixed up the collection and gets contaminated. So interestingly enough, yes, the contamination thing is a massive problem, but in terms of everything getting mixed up, actually they do that on purpose here, because all of the recyclables go to sorting plants. So in Singapore, they actually pay people to sort the recycling. So even though you feel like you've separated the items, yeah, it can be a little, you know, disempowering or upsetting that you see it all going together, but that's because the system here, it all goes to one place and then it gets sorted there. Yeah. Okay, next we have carries a reusable lunchbox or cup. Probably an easy one for a lot of people here to mark off. Bingo! Alti spelled bingo. What four did you have in a row? Just curious.
I have this one, obviously.
Yep.
Then beach cleanup. I have clothes swapping and recycling.
Amazing! Yay for Alti. That's awesome. So I will message you, and you will be getting a beautiful little green is the new black gift set. Thank you for participating and for winning. We still have a couple things to go, so I'm happy to then have a runner-up also getting a little batch of prizes while we just finish through the last couple of slides. So keep an eye on, mark your things off, and you know, yell bingo if you get it. We have someone here, HM Chang. There's insufficient recycling bins, as well as things thrown on the floor or get wet. Yeah, that's true, especially in the rain, and then there's a big storm that's just come across. I don't know if anyone else is having that in Singapore. Okay, so yes, carries a reusable lunchbox or cup. Single-use plastic is one of the biggest myths of all time. Almost every piece of plastic that was ever created is still on the planet in some form or another, except the stuff that's probably circling around space. And in Singapore, a little stat there, we go through an estimated 2.2 million straws every day, which is actually enough to cover our coastline twice over. So definitely something to think about if you don't already, is taking a little reusable lunchbox or cup with you when you go to get your food at lunchtime or when you're getting takeout. And now, which is very exciting, there are some great things happening in terms of takeaway. So there's two companies, Muse and Bearpack, both of which are rolling out very exciting partnerships. And we can share some links on that in the chat, but they're both allowing you to get takeout and delivery in reusable containers. So that's very exciting happening. Jess is sharing, besides waste for recycling, it's also good to think about fast fashion, as there's lots of plastic in these clothes, probably good to cut that down too. Yes, which is why we should do more clothes swapping, Jess. It seems like Yong also got bingo, didn't want to interrupt. Yeah, Yong, and Karen, you also got bingo. Okay, great. So you guys are our 3 winners, and you'll each get a little pack from us from Green is New Black. So I think if you can send your emails on the chat to Stacy, Yong, and Karen, she'll private message you, and then we'll sort you out with all your prizes and details. And we'll just ping through the rest of the information. So the next one would have been made the switch to renewable energy. So basically in Singapore, you probably know, maybe you don't know, but we've actually have an open electricity market now. So now the market's opened up. It's not just Singapore Power anymore. And so you do actually have an option to switch to solar, or to get a renewable mix where there's, you know, some solar. There's some examples of companies there. You can also actually get carbon neutral energy or green certified electricity, where the electricity provider buys, you know, carbon credits so that your energy is, basically carbon neutral. Lots of different options there. The thing to note here, though, is that everything still goes in on the grid. So technically, if you're paying for solar, you might not know if you're necessarily getting that solar directly to you. But you are obviously showcasing the demand, and you are actually allowing for solar to be part of the grid mix. So it is important things, and there is a lot of ways you can quite easily switch nowadays if you have the choice to in your apartment or home. Green groups at work, this is another great one. So if you haven't, you know, some people have green groups at work, or if you haven't, maybe it's something you can think about starting, and you can run activities like this. You can do education, you can do different engagement, have speakers come in, or just even start thinking about how you can, you know, lighten the load of your office, basically. So there's lots of different things you can do, and we can share a lot of resources for anyone that wants to get started on doing a green group at work. The other one I threw in there for ease is attended the Conscious Festival, which is obviously our event, or planting trees. These are some great tree planting options we wanted to share. So you can plant a tree for as little as $1 with one tree planted. Eco Matcher does trees, a couple of dollars, but you can actually zoom in and see the tree on the map, which is really cool. Or Global Mangrove Trust does mangrove trees, and they use blockchain for traceability. So those are some of our favorite ones. Okay, so Yong's asking, sorry, excuse the thunder, how can we find out if our energy supplier uses renewable energy? I use Keppel. I don't know off the top of my head with Keppel, but what you can do is just hop onto their website, and you can basically look at their plans, and you can see what plans they have, if they offer a solar mix, or if they do carbon neutral electricity. And if they don't, then if you can go to any of those other sites that I looked, or you can even just search like carbon neutral electricity Singapore, and you can look at some of the other suppliers, and they've made it as easy as possible for you to switch. And a lot of them actually even have saving plans as well. So definitely something worth looking into if you are able to switch your electricity plans. Shops at bulk food stores. So these obviously zero waste and bulk food stores. There's a lot of these in Singapore. Really helps to reduce the packaging, and it's actually really fun. I don't normally like grocery shopping, but I do love bulk food store shopping. Something fun to do with the kids as well. That's a list. They're all over the place now in Jurong, even East Coast, in the CBD, Orchard. Lots of different options there to do some bulk food shopping. And our final one was, will there be more plastic when there will be more plastic in our oceans than fish by weight in which year? Does anybody know the answer?
2050.
Yes, 2050, thanks to the research done by the Ellen MacArthur Foundation. Great, so that was our game of bingo. So now I am going to, as Karen saying, is carbon capture real? Any catch? Oof. I'm not a scientist. I don't pretend to be. It's definitely not my area of expertise. If anyone wants to jump in and knows a little bit more about carbon capture, I invite you to please join our conversation here. Otherwise, I mean, it's basically, I think it's one of these transitional things, you know. I think it's good. It's very expensive to do it, you know, and so there's a lot of investment that has to go into it. Obviously, you know, it pulls the carbon out of the air and it captures it very deeply into the ground. We're not sure what the future effect of that might be, I think, at this stage, from my knowledge. Yeah, so it's expensive. We're not sure what the future effect is, but it does obviously suck carbon out of the atmosphere. I think it's a transition. It's part of the process. because we're at a point where we need to be removing as much carbon as we can. So yeah, sorry, I don't have a thorough answer for you there, Karen. Isaac, does not mean we're using solar panel. It is a green. Solar panel is using materials that cannot be recycled at the end of their lifetime. Hence, full lifetime assessment has to be carried out to analyze the impact of using renewable energy. So while yes, they're actually, solar energy panels have had a huge growth in terms of their circularity, and they're actually now being designed to be much more circular, so that the resources that are put into the solar panels can actually then be reused and put into the system to make it circular. So while there's a lot of, I think there's a lot of misinformation about renewables out there still, and that documentary that came out on Earth Day did not help with this story at all. But there's a lot of innovation and a lot of great stuff happening in solar, to help to rectify some of the things that are widely spread, some of that information like you've shared there, Isaac. Okay, so I'm just gonna quickly skip through a few things here. Yeah, so does anyone have any other questions or anything that they're now committing to, any new little green step that they've decided after this they're gonna commit to, they would like to share? All of you seem to be pretty green already, which is really great. But if there's anything that anyone's willing to commit, let's be accountable. You can share it in the group chat. We have a lot of resources on our website. So if you haven't been to greenisnewblack.com, we have articles and guides that come out all the time, conscious brands around Asia and Europe in our directory. And then we have started a YouTube series, which you can see here. We did a whole video on why people are still confused about climate change. And then we did 60 concrete solutions to solve climate change. So I can definitely recommend, if you'd like to get some more resources on any of the things that we've shared today, that's where you can go. And of course, we'd love to welcome you and invite you to our virtual Conscious Festival happening on the 12th, 13th, and 14th of June. Han is sharing, thank you you like my flower arrangement. Thanks. So yes, the virtual Conscious Festival, we have talks, workshop, we've got some amazing lineup of speakers. We have speakers from Project Drawdown, the head scientist from Project Drawdown, Chad's going to be joining. We've got influencers like Arizona Muse, model activist influencers. We've got the co-founder of Lush joining us. We also have the head of sustainability for IKEA and communication. So some really amazing big corporates, but also some awesome, grassroots organizations and other leading voices in sustainability. So definitely would love to welcome you all there. And of course, our winners will be getting a pair of free tickets each, our 3 winners to join our virtual festival. So more information on that can just be found on our website as well. And yeah, that's everything from us. So we're Green is New Black. Thank you guys so much for playing. That was really fun. Loved all the engagement activities. So I hope you guys had a nice little break away from your laptops for a change. And yeah, that's all from me. So I'll hand back over to Mary Lynn and the team. I think you're on mute. Yeah.
Hello. Can you hear me? Okay. Thank you, Stephanie. Thanks everyone for joining the first CDL Sustainability virtual SSA workshop. And thank you so much, Stephanie, for providing your expertise and living a sustainable life in Singapore. I just wanna, can we take a short moment and take a group picture? If you could turn your cameras on and like strike a fun pose or just smile. My colleague Tracy will count down from 3 and take a quick screenshot so that we can post it.
Yay, so nice to see all your faces. Hi.
Okay, I'm going to count to 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, got it.
Awesome.
Okay, thank you. We hope everyone has learned a little bit more about sustainability in Singapore and understands the infrastructure a little bit better, and also are more committed to your next little green step as an individual. As mentioned before, this session has been recorded and will be posted on the CDL Sustainability Facebook page for your viewing, and the Sustainability Bingo card will also be shared online. We have a few more exciting virtual workshops taking place this month. So to find out more information on our future sessions, please refer to the group chat box. Thank you again, everybody, and stay safe.
Thanks, everyone.
Love the flowers, Stephanie.
Yeah, thank you. They were a gift today from Charlotte Puxley Flowers. From one of my girlfriends sent it to me. It's quite beautiful indeed. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I mean, I didn't get any flowers today, but I'm okay.
Yeah.
All right. Bye, everyone. Take care.
Take care.
Thanks for hosting this, Stephanie. It's great.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for joining. Okay, I think it's just us now. Was it okay? You guys happy?
Yep. I think that went well. Thanks, Stephanie. And I think the time was just right as well.
Yeah.
We didn't have to go too much into other content. I think it's okay, and everyone sort of participated, so it's quite good.
Yeah.
It's quite good.
How many did we have in the end that were on?
I think we had 46.
46, yeah.
Yeah,
The
at the
highest.
most. Yeah, the highest.
That's not bad.
Like 10, I think out of, we had 50 signups, I think. 50 or 50 odd signups.
50 odd.
So 46 is pretty good. Thanks.
No worries. Thank you guys. Yeah.
So we'll probably post this up somewhere on social media after this, and yeah, I think that's about it. Thanks so much. I hope nothing. So most people got the bingo, right? Thanks to Stacey. Yeah.
I think with Stace, were there any issues of people getting them?
No, I don't think so. No one asked me for it after I sent them, so it should be good.
Okay. So that's great. Yeah, it's great. I think someone feedback that they couldn't see the poll. I think someone.
They were viewing on
yeah,
browser.
there was only one poll question actually. I think the other questions didn't work. So that's okay.
Yeah, but that's fine. It's all right. Okay,
Yeah.
but it's great. Thanks a lot.
No worries. There's some good feedback, I guess, in the chat. But if anyone shares anything that's constructive or any good feedback, we'd definitely love to hear it.
Yeah, I think I just got like a feedback from one of my contacts. They say it was very good.
Okay. Cool. But yes, if you guys think there's anything we could do to make it better as well, we always want to improve. So feedback's welcome.
Okay.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
All right. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.